What's going on, you guys? This is Bridget Kelly, and you are locked into We Talk Weekly.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This your boy Charles Gregory. We talk weekly, and you know we have to get the beautiful people in the building. And we had this young lady, somebody special here. A lot of things popping off. You're talking about reality stars. You're talking about musicians, musical, R&B singer, everything under the above, right? And so let's talk a little bit about you because I mean, you right now, you're cooking.
I am.
You in everybody's mouth right now.
Oh,
Great though.
I mean, in a good way.
In a good way, definitely in a good way, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves you, and everybody loves you.
Yes, I hope so.
Miss Bridget Kelly, how are you?
I am amazing. I'm feeling so much. I mean, we're in Philly, obviously, so I'm feeling all the love. But I'm floating on a high right now. My very first album is out today, so I'm elated.
Fantastic. And you've been out a long time.
Yeah.
And you've been writing a lot. Mm-hmm. Why did you pick this time to say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put out an album.
I wouldn't even say that I picked this time. This time kind of picked me. Yeah, I've been working on this particular project for 2 years maybe, but I feel like the last year or so really just with everything that happened to me in real life, it pushed me into a much more creative space than I thought I was gonna be in, and everything came to fruition the way I needed it to. So it just felt like the right time.
Interesting. Now, you talk about, how it picked you.
Yeah.
What was one of the things that you can recall that, you said, this is a challenging point in my life and I need to write?
I think the end of my relationship last year, and then everything kind of happening in the public eye on television was what made me feel like, all right, there's so many elements to this relationship and my story that have not been told, and everyone's only going to take snippets of what they see on TV, and I felt like it was my duty. And also, it was therapeutic for me to have to just go in and tell my story in full and be as honest and raw as possible in order to really make sure that my fans and people that were, paying attention to me that maybe weren't my fans, that didn't want to see me win, could find, a means to relate to me through my music.
Right. Interesting. So if I was to ask you the question, who is Bridget Kelly, what would you say?
She's a work in progress. That's really what I would say. I think I've come a long way, but I'm still a work in progress, and I'm ever changing, ever growing, and still a hopeless romantic, a creator, and a lover, and a friend, and I think I'm a person that loves to celebrate, that loves to find things to celebrate and be happy about, and that's me.
Speaking of celebrating and be happy, you have something that's popping tonight. Yes, let's talk a little bit about that.
We're going to the SA Lounge tonight to celebrate the release of this album, which honestly feels like a birth. And I don't have any children yet, but everybody always says when you have a kid, you'll understand. It's literally the most incredible relief and release from your body. You just feel like a whole person. And I feel like a whole person. I feel like I've literally, this weight has been lifted off my shoulders. You know what I mean? I'm telling my story in such an unbridled way that I think now there's nothing that can hold me back.
Who inspires you?
Daily, the people around me, my team, my mother, my friends. And honestly, I think, the other artists that I get to be around and get to have close relationships with that also go through the same type of struggles and are equally as resilient. I think that they keep me focused too.
That's interesting because on our show, we talk a little bit about kind of like those struggles, and we talk a lot about, we talk to a lot of artists.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that you believe that when you're feeling uninspired or you're feeling down or you're feeling like you can't push through, what makes you, take that extra step to push?
I mean, I'm a conversationalist, so ultimately any song that I've written has come from a conversation. So whether it's about something that's currently going on with me or it's something that's going on with someone else, I can sit down and we can figure out a structure in which to tell a story. Ultimately, songwriting is storytelling, so sometimes it's fictional and sometimes it's real life, and I think it just is a matter of discipline. I mean, that's the beauty of being a songwriter is being able to create something, make something out of nothing. Sometimes you got to pull a rabbit out of a hat, even if you don't feel inspired. I've written songs without being inspired, and literally they've just come to me and been like, okay, this is cool. I think, when I started my initial album was called All or Nothing, and I had a whole different concept, a whole different vibe, and I went in and was purposely trying to be deliberate about and intentional with writing records for it. And I got records, but they weren't, because I felt like I was inspired, but I felt like I was still trying to throw darts at a target. I wasn't really going in and thinking and removing the technique, the technicality from it. I was just going in and functioning as a writer, like, okay, this is what I want to get done. This is what I want to write about, as opposed to just saying, okay, this is the overall concept for where I'm at. What's going to fulfill me and make me feel like this is complete. And it's going based off of a feeling this time around rather than trying to complete an actual project.
Now, I want to jump a little bit about industry, right? Industry and some of the things that's happening in the industry, especially off the heels of, you got the Bill Cosby situation and this whole Me Too. What's your take on this?
I have some conflicting views, because being in this industry, I have witnessed a lot of the rise of women that have utilized their sexual prowess, you know what I mean, to get further along. And so, I think it's hard, because we have whistleblowers now that, half of the time people roll their eyes at it, you know what I mean, and don't take it as seriously as it should be taken. But the other half of it is like, do we take it seriously and immediately accuse and charge every single person that is accused of this type of behavior? And it's not to discredit and discard, the women that it has happened to, but I do think that, as women, we need to bring that conversation home too, and say, what standard are we setting for ourselves? And having this conversation about really being honest about how many women have gotten to where they are by behaving a certain way, and really address that. I think that's hard for us as women. And I hate to say it, but I really think a lot of the onus falls on a lot of white women, and white women don't want to have that conversation. And when it comes time to address whether or not a man's character and integrity is being called into question, I mean, I as a woman, just automatically I side with a woman. But I think there's always some truth to accusations. But I also think that in that same breath, we have to acknowledge the fact that at least one of us knows a woman or two that has gotten further along in her career because she's done some unbecoming things. And I just think all of the conversation needs to be addressed all across the board. But it is very upsetting to me to see, and disturbing to see, what's going on with Bill Cosby. The fact that 53 women have come out and accused him of this, you know what I mean? It's very upsetting. It's disgusting to me, because I can't imagine that 53 women would lie. So that's very saddening to me.
Interesting perspective. I only have a few more questions, because I know you have to go get ready for the after party. Yeah. We Talk Weekly will definitely be in the house. So check this out, right? So let's do kind of like a 180. Let's go on the flip side of that, because it has been a lot of this has been an interesting time for black magic, as I say, black girl magic, right? You're talking about from the the Beyoncés who just did this great thing in Coachella, right? And then you have Taraji P. Henson, great movie. You got Michelle Obama. You have all these beautiful black women, that's really pushing. What's your take on that? Because now you're one of them. I mean, you're in this whole thing. You're part of history now, right?
It's a beautiful thing, and it's interesting, because I have this conversation a lot with my girlfriends, because I'm mixed. So being a mixed girl, the conversation always goes back to who do you identify with more, and where do you feel like you fit in more. My mother is white and my father was black, so the cultural difference and dynamic was always equal in my house. One was never more dominant than the other, but I think for the most part, for me, just black culture and black women and black men and black, just my black family. Everybody has always embraced me so much more on that side than on the white side, just because in general, the music that I make, I grew up in New York City, so there was always a natural edge and a witty cleverness that just always came with who I was. My voice is deep and raspy. I'm a curvy girl. I have curly hair. It naturally just gravitated towards what was more culturally relatable for me. And I think, it's incredible to watch someone like a Beyonce take on, to just take every ounce of beautiful black culture and put it on stage in such a way that forces America to view black excellence in a way that they've never seen it before. And anybody can argue all day long. Beyonce, to me, is the greatest performer we've ever seen. I mean, she takes professionalism and poise to a whole other level. And it's undisputable. You know what I mean? I was at Coachella the second weekend and got a chance to witness it firsthand, and it really just, I mean, just unbelievable. Just like, I mean, and my sister went to Howard, my sister went to an HBCU, so really that culture, that marching band, the stepping, like all of that was just such a nostalgic thing, just even watching that on stage. So it just, I mean, it's incredible. It's a blessing. It's a beautiful thing to be a woman. It's an incredible time to be a woman of color, to be a mixed woman, to be a black woman. I think there's so many different elements to be said about black entertainment right now. I think it's just, it's at the forefront of everything that's winning. And I'm just excited about this next wave.
I know that's right. Winning, yes. So a couple more questions, right? I'm a stylist. I'm a wardrobe stylist, okay, right? And so I love the way people put kind of like their pieces together. Now, you have an interesting piece on, so I have to ask, who are you wearing? Let's talk a little bit about kind of like the ensemble.
This is Adidas.
I know that's right. You know, athleisure wear, right?
Adidas. Let me tell you, I'm a tomboy, just by default. I've always been a tomboy. I've always been into sports. I've always been into hoodies, leggings, sweatpants, comfort and leisure over, comfort, leisure, practicality over, you know, what just looks phenomenal. But as obviously the more mature I get, I have to recognize the importance of time and place. I can't always show up to a place in a hoodie and leggings. But I'm attracted to patterns and prints and different textures. I think leather, denim, black. My hair is green, so I don't wear a lot of green because of that. It's just, it would be a lot. It would look too much like Halloween. But I really do. I love colors. I love to experiment with different patterns, different textures. Yeah.
Now, I always ask this question, right, before I end any of my interviews, right? I say, what's the one thing, right? And you got to dig into whatever you carry today, your Birkin bag, your Gucci, whatever you brought today.
Let me dig into it.
You have to tell. Now, you've been on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. You've been everywhere, right?
Yes.
You bared your soul on your album.
I did.
Name the one thing, or tell me the one thing that no one else knows about Bridget Kelly that you can tell us right now so we can get the exclusive We Talk Weekly.
No one else knows about me.
Anything. Don't be cheating. You got to tell us.
Just a random Snapple fact about me.
Anything.
So I love to work out. Fitness is a big part of my life. The left side of my body is noticeably way stronger than my right. Snapple fact. If I was to try and do like push-ups, I could probably do a one-handed push-up with my left and I'm dead on my right. Can't do it.
So what's next with Bridget Kelly?
What's next?
After this album go gold platinum and all that.
After this album goes platinum and we tour the world, I'm on another season of Love and Hip Hop. So I'm really excited about this. It's the redemption season, as I'm calling it, because this time around it's really all about the music and all about my own personal growth and development. And I think, you know, that's to be said. That's gonna last for the rest of the year, and then hosting. I'm a guest host on Joe Budden's podcast. I go on Steve's daytime show a lot, Steve Harvey's daytime show a lot, and just really, you know, finding new ways to converse and touch the people.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and Miss Bridget Kelly, the beautiful, the phenomenal. Where can they find you? And I want you to give one last word.
Well, thank you, first of all, for all the love and support and all the encouragement. This album is my most honest work to date, and I hope that there is a song, at least one, that resonates with you. And it's available everywhere. Reality Bites, it's on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Google Play. You name it, it's available online everywhere. And you can find me on social media at I am Bridget Kelly on all my handles. And just, you know, follow me, reach out. I'm responsive. I'm not afraid. If you in Philly tonight, you know, come to SA Lounge and come chop it up, take a shot, have a conversation, and we'll hang out. Yeah.
How you like being in Philly?
I love Philly.
We in Philly.
I need to get a cheesesteak. Y'all playing with me.
Philly, stand up, man. We here. You know, free Meek. Meek is out.
Meek is out.
Meek is out. We happy about that.
God bless Meek. You know what I mean? I'm happy to see him back reunited. The first pictures we see of that man is with his son. I love that. Let that man be a good dad.
You know what? Give Meek Mill last words right here.
Meek, we love you, and we are so happy to see you flourish and thrive and really be out here living your best life the way you should. And I hope that this experience is really going to amplify and help you push through for more justice for all the men that are still to this day incarcerated and cannot be with their families and cannot support and love the people around them the way that you are now able to do. So I hope that you will continue to be a pillar for them.
You are definitely a speaker.
I am.
What's up, y'all? This your boy Charles Gregory with the beautiful Bridget Kelly. We got LaurenSizzle out there. She's getting all the good stuff. We're going to be down at that party. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after this. Charles Gregory, we talk weekly, and we out here. Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks,
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Why don't you give a drop real quick?
Yes, come on.